You know, we are excited about it again. When Kyle came to us last year about putting this together, I thought they did an outstanding job. We talked about it back in, I guess, January of this year. And we were in here in a meeting, Kyle and I and Corwin, and Kyle said something about 5 ball games. I said, whoa, wait a minute now. He said, no, we'll take care of everything. I said, well, that'd be fine. But I know they'll do that. You know, we just have to show up over here about 7:30, warm up, and go out there and play. But I'd sure like to compliment Kyle and his staff, the corporate sponsors that we've had last year that are back on board with us this year. At Ruston High School, we're pretty familiar with those people because they're the corporate sponsor of our sports medicine program, and we certainly appreciate that and their interest in this for the kids. And Louisiana Tech, you know, I think this has been tried in the past to get a jamboree going over there. For some reason, it never could work out. But we appreciate their efforts and letting us have it over there. Some of you talking about a while ago what you get out of the jamboree. Of course, one of the biggest things I think we get out of the jamboree is that it's a whole lot different when those kids line up out there on Saturday afternoon, whether it be 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and they got a bunch of people sitting up in the stands. You can tell where your kids are, how they're going to react, for that first football game, because it means a little bit more to them. Also, we get to work on our special teams. Special teams are tough to work on among yourself. It's a ball game, and even last year, some of the coaches not necessarily didn't really want to do them, but kind of asked about that. And I've always thought it's important, particularly in a jamboree like that, to go ahead and do just make it like a regular football game. Of course, it's just cut down time-wise. But I think we do get a lot out of it for our special teams. But again, we're looking forward to it. Kyle just needs the only thing he needs to do a little bit better job this year of is controlling the weather. If he can handle that, I think everything will be fine.
Coach, one of the big question marks for the Bearcats can be naming a starting quarterback. Is that something you'll decide before the jam or during the jam? How many will take snaps during the jamboree?
More than likely, it'll be decided before the jamboree, and that's being decided as we speak right now. In our 7-on-7s that we do 7-on-7 every Tuesday and Thursday. We were down at Natchez last week for a 7-on-7. But it's working its way out on the playing field, and when we line up for the jamboree, the young man that steps out there, he'll be our starting quarterback. We'll have a scrimmage prior to that with Ravel, and so by that point in time, we'll know who our starting quarterback is.
Coach, this time last year we were talking about you moving down to 4A, and you had mentioned that moving down wasn't really a move down. I think that was demonstrated quite well this last season. Having a year of that under your belt, what do you know now about the district?
Well, of course, a lot of those teams we played in the past, but really, if you look over the state last year, 4A may have been the most competitive conference in the state. And then we're still playing up we played Washita, we played Bird, we played Sulphur. So, you know, we've got a heck of a schedule. Then you got to jump in there and you got to play Neville, Basco, athletic teams like Wasserman. And now you got West Washita with that turf. Every kid they got over there run a 4-4 over there. You know, you got to take that into consideration too.
Yeah, 4 foot tall and 4 foot wide.
No, it's very competitive, and you know, that's the thing that I wanted to get across to people. You know, a lot of people look at it, they just look at the A's out the side right there, and they don't compare them. But it's quite a competitive conference, as we saw last year, and it's a competitive class in the state. And of course, we ended up playing in our district with the eventual state champion.
Talk about last year starting this jam with Joe, and then this year how much it's blown up in just a year and how successful it was and is. Did you see it catching on this quickly? Did you expect it to be this big this fast?
Well, I mean, I thought it could, because I think that's something special we all look for. And when you got a facility like Tech has now, and you bring these high school kids into that, I mean, it's a recruiting tool for them. But you bring those high school kids into that, they always want to. Tech's almost a second home to us from last year because we practiced 5 times on the parking lot, and 4 times we were able to get on their game field because of all the weather. But with the leadership we've had with Kyle and the Chamber of Commerce coming on now, the people here in town, this area it's a hotbed for high school football, and we let those people across the river over kind of jump ahead of us with the Bayou Jamb, and it was good. We enjoyed that. We got a lot of good out of it. But if they can do that over there at Northeast, why can't we do it right here at Tech? And we've made that happen, and I think it's going to continue to be something special now.
Is your schedule, Billy, is tough or tougher than last year? Or is it apples and oranges?
It's the same schedule we had. We just reversed it. I mean, we're forced it. With the Jamboree, we're going to have basically 7 home football games. We got 6 at home during the regular season, but we still play in Washita, we're still playing Bird, we're still playing Suffolk. You still got, your district schedule right there. So, yeah, it's still a pretty tough schedule, and we lost, we've got 5 starters coming back on defense, no defensive linemen, and we've got 3 starters coming back offensively, only 1 offensive lineman. The guy that we're probably going to have to count on more than anything else is number 21, Jamb Johnson. He was our leading rusher last year. Gained right at 1,000 yards. He had an 8.5 average per carry. And you go back and look, the dadgum coach should have gave him the ball more. So he'll probably get a taste of it this year. But we've got some holes to fill. But our kids are working at it hard every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, and we're looking forward to it.
Coach, you beat me to the punch with Jermaine, but there's been a lot of talk about him. He had the opportunity to come up with Carlos having the target on his back. Now all the focus is going to be on him. How is he going to handle that?
Oh, I think he can. He's a great young man. He's a great character kid. Really nothing phases him. If he walks in this room or anytime, I've never talked to the young man since he's been at Ruston High School that all he says is yes or no, sir. And he can handle that. We're going to have to do some other things with some of our other kids. But, yeah, he is going to be the go-to guy. And there for a while last year, particularly down at Suffolk, Carlos got hurt down there. We had to keep some drives going. And he probably carried it 8 or 9, 10 times in a row and came through for us. So I think he'll do that this year.
Is there someone else that's going to step up behind him that you've already noticed?
Well, what we're going to have to do this year is our quarterbacks are going to have to be more of a ball carrier this year than we have been in the past because of what we're doing offensively. And I think we've got a couple of kids there that will be able to do that. The old saying is you better have a pair and spare at center. Well, you better have a pair and spare at quarterback for what I think we're going to try to do with our quarterback this year to complement Jamb as the other one back in the backfield back there. But again, we appreciate it. Got a good lineup of teams here. Got good coaches over here, and guys, the coaching fraternity it's special. When we go out there on Friday night, it's blood, sweat, and tears out there. These guys, just like we do, they put a lot of time into it, and that's why Adam, Channel 3 out of Shreveport came over one day this week and talked about high school football in North Louisiana. And I honestly believe it has all started with the coaches and filtered down through the community to the kids. You go back, and I'm not going to try to go through all over any of them right now, but the coaches that we've had up here in this North Louisiana, north of I-20, I'm going to throw going for it down there just because of joy. It's just 25 miles down the road. But there's been a lot of outstanding coaches, and still is. That's why you see such good football up here in North Louisiana. The thing that hopefully we can continue to get. You look around right here, and there's a couple of them sitting in here. Not any of them near as old as me, but we're getting a few good young coaches. And that's hard to do. In the past 10 years, we hadn't got a lot of those. We need good young coaches coming up. Like the Bull Meats and the other guys like that right there.